Meow! Huples cat. This is the RINO companion, and I got two of them as a birthday gift. A very expensive pre-made bug out, and they've been just hanging out waiting for me to get them sorted out so they're actually Huples cat worthy, and I'm going to do that. A couple of additions from RINO Companion themselves. One was a bandana. I actually wanted two of these, but I ended up getting one. The other one is a piece of rope, because I wanted a bit of rope. And the thing is their cheapy compass. I also got a multi-tool. It's all in here, I hope. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to strip them out. And the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to Marie Kondo 5 huge prepping totes, plus some other stuff. And then I'm going to put them into order, and I'm going to see which of them gives me joy and love, and I'm going to keep them, and I'm going to put them in there. These are going to be for the car. We have backpacks right now for the car, but I like this system because it's solid, and it will also be helpful for the dog not to fall down the back of the seats in a car. So these are the two kits, open, and what I'm going to do first off is I'm going to just strip them out, put the stuff I obviously don't want and the stuff I might want and the stuff that I definitely want in these from the originals. Then I'll open up everything else and replace stuff that I don't think is very good with stuff that I think is better. I did of course do a complete unboxing of this and also a comparison of the price. It's really expensive. It's probably just about worth it in Canada to buy a complete system, and if you're not able to prep or you don't want to prep but you have about $300 American, it's not a bad system. There are other systems out there. Shop around, have a look. Kitty got this from a Go-Go or whatever it is. Okay, let's get on with the work. Yep, it's single walled and you can hang it over a fire, but it really shouldn't be in the bag. Alright, let's speed this up. Sight and air. When I got this, I said it didn't work, and I actually sent it back to the manufacturer by email and said, hey guys, blah blah blah, and they completely ignored me. So their after service is diabolical. But what I didn't realise, because I don't have these, is the battery is actually encased in plastic, and you have to remove all of this plastic and this specifically, and then when you put it in and charge it, it will work just fine. So I'm going to charge it and we'll have a look at it at the end. The charger is a USB charger which works for my BioLite, so I'm happy with that. I'd like to have this in a much better protected waterproof container than what I've got. So I'll keep it charged and I will use that for sure. The headlamp's pretty decent. I was quite impressed with this when I got it. Doesn't seem to be working now, so I'm going to have a look at that. There's the batteries for the headlamp, that's why it's not working. And one of these big match containers. I only ever bought one of these. I wasn't really that impressed with them. It also has a spare striker surface inside, which is great. So this is kind of okay for a non-carryable car kit. Yeah, I'll keep that. Alright. Comms. I would include chem lights and a flashlight as comms. Signalling at night is an important thing if you are lost and you want people to find you. This comms has the USB charger, flashlight and radio. There's another USB. This is deader than a dodo. And it's charging and comes on. Not a bad little kit. It also has the radio. So yeah, this would be a thing I would have, but again, because I've got two kits, I've got two radios and 4 gloves. So there's a lot of paring down that can be done, even for stuff I don't want to keep. This is just water rations. Because I'm Canadian, it didn't come with water tablets. I'm going to keep this though, it's bulky and heavy. It is for the car. There's not a huge amount of water in here, but it's lifeboat water. I might as well keep it, and I will add water tablets. I also need a gravity filter as well. This is where I might get a soya. The food, I'll keep the food as well. It is just basically a lifeboat brick, 2,400 calories. That's not a lot, but it's better than nothing. Heavy though. And of course, the first aid kit. The first aid kit is sealed up. So what I'll do is I'll have a look at the other one. So that's the kit stripped. My next important job is to look at why I'm throwing stuff out. So, hot wipes, pointless, heavy, don't want them, single use. Huge wipes. Yeah, I can have a bath if I want to, I don't. I want some wet wipes, I want them made basically for pits and bits, and also for when I had number 2. These are nice, but they're very big. I don't need these. These are a useful thing to have in the house or in the bug out location, but I'm not really sure I need to have a full bed bath on the go. So I'll strip the other one, and I'll bring up the boxes from downstairs, and then we'll open them up. I ordered 2 pairs of small and 2 pairs of large gloves. I don't need 4 pairs of gloves. So these are actually decent gloves, and I'm going to keep them, but I won't be keeping them in the bug out bags, the get home bags in the car. I don't need the second radio. If the first radio doesn't work, it doesn't work. What I would prefer to have in this type of a kit is USB small hand communications devices like I have in the house. I only have 1 pair, so I'm going to look out for a second pair of them, because the ability to actually talk at a short distance to another human being who's with you in a bug out or a bug in or a get home situation is pretty useful. Yada yada yada. I don't like these, I don't use them, I think they're pretty useless. I won't throw them out, but I will keep them in the home mega first aid container. They might have some utility, but the weight and the single use, I'm not carrying it. I already discussed the wipes again for home use. Yeah, pretty good idea. The N95s. I don't know how good they are, right? No idea. So I'm actually going to replace these with my own, but I will keep these in the first aid pandemic box, which has been opened several times and now is more than 1 box. I wonder why. The shelter, this is garbage, really garbage. I'm going to take one on canoeing with me, and I'm going to try it out just for a giggle. It's heavy, it's big, and it's probably multiple use if you're very careful with it. How well it would survive in the wild is going to be an interesting question. So I actually want a shelter system in the winter that involves a tent and sleeping bags and a ground mat. Sleeping in this in Canada in the winter is not going to do me any good. Sleeping in this in a bug out is not necessary. There are a lot of buildings, there's a lot of structures around almost everywhere that you can sleep in that would give you more shelter and less visibility than a thing like this. People will disagree with that. But a small tarp system instead of this would be much more useful. The RINO Ready sunglasses smoke. With glasses on it doesn't fit, and what I did previously when I put these on is it doesn't really fit that well. You can adjust it, but it's not great. Vision's pretty good with it, but I wouldn't be able to wear glasses, so this is a major negative for me. However, in conditions of smoke, this would be a useful thing, except of the sunglass shading on it. I imagine in a dense smoke situation, I'm not going to be able to see pretty much anything. I might keep 2 of these in one of the bags under the grounds that we might encounter a wildfire or a severe smoke situation, or even a pandemic, where I don't want my eyeballs affected, and then this would come into their use. But again, there's 4 of these, so I only need 2. I don't know what to do with the rain jackets. These are pretty big. I'm actually going to take, well, I don't know what I want to do. So the rain jacket, pretty big, pretty heavy. They do have, which is useful, Velcro on them, so I can open it up and have a look. I have much better, I think, and cheaper rain jackets than this, but this is pretty expensively big, and yeah, okay. So it's plastic, and it's buttoned, and it's much better than the regular rain jackets. So despite my concerns about the size of these, I think it's worth putting 2 of these into the Get Home kit. It's pretty durable, and it's actually decent quality. These are some of the better ones I've ever seen. So yeah, if I can fit it back in here, then that's what we will use. Chem lights. I'm going to keep all 4 of them. I'm not a big believer in chem lights, but if you put a piece of string on it, and these do have the attachment here, I can feel it. You can spin them and make a good signaling device. Do I need 2 of these? Well, I think the answer to that is no. I think what I do need is a Bic, and I do think a Bic inside of this might be the way to go and transfer this to something else. So then I will have 4 striker surfaces, a fair amount of matches, and a Bic, as well as 2 fire steels. I'm going to keep both of the headlights. Might put extra batteries in. This is the other thing people always stock. Oops. Thermal blankets. These also are zip-locked. Now I don't know if you've ever opened up a emergency blanket and then refolded it. There are videos out there. It's quite difficult. But again, this is a much different type of thermal blanket. It's pretty strong, so this would make a good ground sheet, as well as a thermal blanket, or as a good temporary tarp perhaps, although I wouldn't expect it to survive long. But yeah, I'll take 2 of these, because why not? Now, do I take 2 compasses? No, I'm going to take 1 compass. I'm going to take both sets of knives, because I think it's important that Kitty has a knife as well as myself. We would never be bugging out with more than the 2 of us. And I'm going to take 1 set of the multi-tool. I don't need 2 multi-tools in a kit like this, and it's fairly heavy. Now that liberates the front compartment of the knife, which I will replace with a knife sharpener, which I think is good. But I've got a lot of stuff downstairs. Let's see what we can do with it. All your first aid kits. That other one is sealed up, and inside it is 1 pair of gloves. Always open your kits, always look in your kits, see what's in the kit, remove stuff, add stuff, etc. But get, if you don't have them, 1 or 2 pairs of nitrile gloves and have them on the outside of the kit. So you're likely to have blood and debris over your hands when you want the kit. You put the gloves on first, and it prevents contamination of the inside of the kit. Bearing in mind, you don't want to ever waste equipment that you might need later on. Now, I went through this kit. It's not a bad kit. There's some issues with it, but for kits, it's not bad. It does have a CPR valve. I do not recommend doing CPR on anybody in the wild or in first aid situations where you haven't got ready access to a defibrillator, but that's up to you. But I'll keep it in because it weighs almost nothing. It has some pretty good stretch bandages, which I was quite happy with. What it doesn't have, which I want it to have, is proper tensor bandages, because ankle and wrist injuries is the most common thing. The shears, fairly impressive looking, but fairly small, fairly lightweight. Better than nothing, But if you want to rip clothing off people, get a better set of shears, or use the knife, which is more likely. So yeah, keep these on the outside of the kit. You know what's in the kit. As a ready to go kit, I'll keep it. Chances are if we have to bug in, I'll be bugging in at the university, which has a full hospital set up inside of the nursing school, or I'll be bugging in at the hospital. So I don't really particularly need to have first aid supplies except when we're in the car. If we come across anything of interest, we have this. No, it's not trauma ready. No, it doesn't have Israeli bandages. No, it doesn't have X, Y, and Z. But I don't have to think about it, and that's the beauty of buying a system, so you don't have to think about it, isn't it? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the kits back together, then I'm going to get all the boxes up, put them all out on the table, and then decide what I want to put back into these boxes, additional and to replace what I've removed. And I will spare you that on this video. That will be on the next video because I don't feel great. I've got a bit of a summer cold, I hope, and we're off to go canoeing next week. So that's it from me. Toodles. This has been a 2020 Biscuit Cat production.